Hey YA nerds, it's Kaye here with another edition of Kaye Reads a Lot during quarantine. Honestly, I've not been reading at all during quarantine. I wanted to review a book for you guys that I picked up from the library before this all started, but I have not finished it. I'm having a really hard time getting through it, and I have like no motivation to read, which kind of sucks. I know a lot of other people have been experiencing the same thing when it comes to this whole thing. A lot of gamers who were super into gaming are now sick of gaming because all they do is game all day. It's the same thing going on with readers. Before this, I was reading like 3 books a week, and now I'm down to like 1 a month. So it's just hard for everybody. Appreciate all the patience with that, and I'm sure that anyone else who's going through a hard time appreciates you being patient with them as well. I will talk about a book today from my bookshelf that I read a while ago. I actually think I read it last summer. During Pride Month, because I was just reading queer books for like the whole month of June last year. I'm going to do that again this year, as long as I can get my groove back when it comes to reading. So today we're talking about Autoboyography. It's by Christina Lauren. So beautiful cover. Another one that caught my attention because the cover is really cool. And a little bit of information about this book. It's 407 pages, so a little bit longer than your standard fare. Doesn't mean it's bad, just means it's longer. And it was published September 12th in 2017. And the other cool thing about this book that I like to point out is that Christina Lauren is actually 2 authors. They are both romance writers and they're best friends, and their names are Christina Hobbs and Lauren Billings. And I love that 2 best friends get together and they make a pen name for each other, for themselves rather, and then start writing books. So like I said, they mostly dabble in romance books, so the romance in this book is really well written in my opinion. More information about this, it was nominated for the Lambda Lit Award for LGBTQ children's and YA books, and it was a Goodreads Choice Award for YA fic 2 years ago, I think. So, pretty cool stuff. As for the plot of this book, it's kind of self-explanatory. The main character, Tanner, falls in love with a boy who is not only older than him, but also a member of like the Mormon religion. And unfortunately, Mormons kind of view homosexuality in a very negative light. It's not accepted. You can get kicked out of your community for it. And so their relationship is complicated. Tanner's bisexual in the book. I saw some people reviewing the book saying it was like weird the way they depicted it. Personally, I didn't have a problem with it. So, to each their own, I guess. But the book kind of follows the 2 of them, their budding relationship, the drama that comes from them having a relationship, and Tanner finishing out his senior year of high school with this experience under his belt. It does focus primarily on Tanner and his issues. He is not Mormon. He just lives in a town that is heavily Mormon. So it does cover a lot of issues of religion versus attraction. And I think that's a really fascinating thing for a romance book to do. I think that's why I like Christina Lauren. They tackle a couple of like issues while they're doing the books that they're doing. So I've read another one of their romance books for adults, and I didn't like the ending of that book. I liked the ending of this book, but I will say that their books are really well written. I find their characterizations are really well done. I thought Tanner was very believable. His best friend was really believable. Everybody was great. I loved the whole book with that part. With regards to that part. I can speak today. So yeah, that's the plot for that one. So there's like a handful of tropes in this book. Again, these tropes are things that I have gathered from different parts of the internet, but also my brain and other librarians and teen readers who have told me about tropes that apply to certain books. It's a list that I've curated over a couple of months, and I will add and subtract to it as I see fit. Currently, there are 38 tropes on the list. As I said last time, if you can think of a trope that I haven't covered, let me know in the comments. Maybe I already have it on the list, or maybe I'm not aware of it. But yeah, so for this book we have Clueless Adults, Love at First Sight, Mr. Tall, Dark, and Perfect, Only One Friend in the World, and Unusual Names. And again, all of those definitions will be down in the description below, so you can see what I mean when I say things like Mr. Tall, Dark, and Perfect. It's all down there. And you can check it out after you're done watching the video, or during, whatever you want to do. So, for Readalikes for this book, I've picked 2 from 2 different sites. So we have 2 from Novelist and 2 from Goodreads. Goodreads is an Amazon-owned site, like I've said before. It is the only Amazon-owned product that I love and endorse. I'm addicted. I update my Goodreads multiple times a week. I scroll through giveaways. I take quizzes. It is a problem. If you want to follow me on Goodreads, you can totally follow, link down in the description. Welcome more friends on Goodreads, but it is just literally me updating that I've read 5 pages in a novel. Every day I've read 5 pages and I've read 5 more pages. I don't really post reviews on Goodreads. I probably should. I just don't like the cross-pollination so much. It doesn't really promote video reviews, so I don't review on there. But anyway, Novelist is owned by EBSCO, or hosted by EBSCO rather. I keep saying that. So it's a database that you can use to search for new books. It's a great tool for librarians, and most libraries have subscriptions to the database. So if you do want to go onto Novelist to experience it for yourself, check on your library's website and see if you can log in with your library card. That's the only way I get in. It's the only way anyone gets in, unless you want to pay for a subscription, which they're expensive. It's just better to see if your library can get you in. So for this book, for Goodreads, we have Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston, which I have read. I do agree that these 2 books are similar, and yes, if you do like one, you will like the other. Red, White, and Royal Blue is about the son of the President of the United States, who in this book is a woman, and the son of the royal family in England meet and fall in love and start dating, and it's adorable. Highly recommend it. That book's also considered new adult. It's like a new term for people who are between 18 and I want to say 23 or something like that. I always thought that those people were still young adult YA people. I don't know. There's some weird magic rule that once you turn 18 you have to stop reading teen books, and I think that's silly. I'm 30 and I still read all YA books, so read whatever you love. But yeah, this book came out last year, I think. Yeah. And it was branded as a new adult book. I put it in my YA section, whatever. The other book that was recommended by Goodreads is also What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. I also read this book and loved it. It's like a meet cute New York City between 2 kids, 2 boys who like each other, start dating, but they're not sure if they should be together because the universe keeps pointing them in different directions. And I kind of like that idea that the universe speaks to us, so I liked that in the book. I'm also a huge fan of Adam Silvera. I've read a bunch of his books. I actually should review more of his books. I think I reviewed They Both Died at the End on this channel. Super good. Highly recommend that. But I recommend either of these books. I think Goodreads actually did a good job recommending these books to me. And for Novelist, we have Boy Meets Boy by David Levithan. Haven't read it. On my list. It was one of the first big gay novels that came out in YA in the early 2000s, I think. And it's this big, so really I have no excuse to not read this book. It's less than 200 pages, but here we are. And that one, I think, is self-explanatory. It's 2 boys meet and they start dating, I think. Honestly, I don't really know. I do know that the current cover of that book is adorable. It's got little candy hearts on the cover. Really cute. And the other book that novelist gave me was Georgia Peaches and Other Forbidden Fruit by J. Robin Brown. That book is also on my TBR list. Haven't read that one either. However, I do know that that book is about a girl who is queer and out to everyone, and then her whole family picks up and moves to Georgia. I'm pretty sure this is the plot of this book. There's a lot of books that have the same plot. But her whole family picks up and moves to Georgia. I think her father's a preacher or something like that. So there's a religious connotation in it. And she has to go back into the closet to fit into this new place. And I appreciate writing about that kind of situation because I'm sure it happens, but it sucks. Like, that's so sad. And part of me, I think that's why part of me is put off reading that book, because I just like cannot be sad right now. And I'm sure that there's a happy ending, because for most of these books there is, but I like can't. I can't do it. My rating for this book is actually a 9 out of 10. I know it's not a 10 out of 10. Usually I won't keep a book if it's like less than that. I really did love this book. Like I said, all the characterization was really fantastic in it. And I guess I don't really have any complaints about the book, aside from the fact that, I don't really know the status of these two women. I don't know if either of them are queer, but sometimes it's a little weird, like reading a book written about queer teenagers that was written by straight white people. And there's a lot of like debate on the internet about this kind of topic. I don't want to get into it really. There were some small little things that bothered me about the book. Again, Tanner, all these people constantly questioning him throughout the book. It just felt a little like too real, I guess, but that's so silly to say because it's a book. But yeah, so I mean, 9.5 out of 10, we'll say. Maybe it's because I'm just tired of getting books 10 out of 10s. 9.75 out of 10. So yeah, so that's it for this week. Feel free to comment down below if you've read this book or anything like it. If you want to recommend me a book to read, I'll put it on my TBR, but I can't promise I'm going to get to anything soon. I'm sure this quarantine's been hard on all of you. It's been hard on me. And hopefully it ends soon. Hopefully, normalcy comes back to us. I really don't see that happening anytime soon. It would be really nice. I'm exhausted. I'm sure you guys can tell. Any YouTube creator right now is exhausted. And I mean, I don't do this for money. I don't do this for ad revenue. I don't care about any of that. I made this channel because I wanted to talk about books, and I let this channel fall to the wayside, and now I'm trying to play catch up. So this time's really good for me in regards to that, but it sucks for everything else. And I hope you guys are all taking care of yourselves. So that's it. Leaving this on a bummer note. Sorry. But yeah, I'm sure, we'll be fine. That's all I can keep telling myself. So take care, read some books, and peace out, YA nerds.